In today's video, I want to talk about Menstrual Cup and why I think it's so awesome and things that I want you to know before you buy one of these. So this is not a sponsored ad at all. I really love Organicup. It's the brand where I bought my Organic Cup from many years ago. This is a new one, and I bought it because of this purpose, because when you have used your menstrual cup for a while, it doesn't look, clean anymore. Even though it is clean, even though you cooked it and scrubbed it so many times, it still will have some stains. So I thought I bought a new one, and somehow when I brought it home, the package looked much better. Something happened on the way. Let's just uncover what's in here, because I do love the packaging. I do love that it's recyclable, and also that inside there's a whole description on how to use it, how to clean it, and all these things, but we will also go over this in today's video. And it comes in this little nice bag. You can probably hardly see it. And then we have the Organic Cup here. What I love most about these ones compared to pads or tampons is that it's so clean. And it's smell free, and it just keeps everything in there, and you don't need to change them every hour like you do with your pad when you have a really heavy bleed. You know how it feels like you're always like so scared that you're bleeding through your pants, or the tampon is not safe enough. And with these ones, it's almost impossible. What I like about this a lot is also that you just have to empty it every 12 hours, within 12 hours. And if you have a heavy bleed, of course, you will check it a little bit more often, like for instance 4 to 5 hours. And yeah, it's so practical. You can just be out and about and do your stuff and not really noticing that you have it in. I think the only thing I will say though, that you feel like you have to pee a little bit more when this is in, because it's pressing up against your bladder when it's inside there. Let's get into a little bit how to use it. So when I put it in, I squeeze it like this and fold it so it becomes like almost like a little U form. And then I of course set it up into my vagina, and then I set it up like this. You need a little practice to make sure to set it up right, and that it doesn't open before you have it inside of yourself. What I like to do, and what I'm going to do another video on as well, is use some oil. I use some oil to put outside of my yoni, also a little bit on my cup here, and then it slides in a little bit more easy. And once it's in there, you just flip it open, and it will seal around the inside of your vagina, and no blood will come out. I will say sometimes it can leak, and what I did, it was in the beginning, I don't know why, somehow, if you just had to get used to it or what it was, but I would take it out again and then try again, and then usually it would work and be tight and no blood will leak through it. Getting it out again, also, you cannot just pull on this little thing. That's what you do. This will probably be outside of you, a little more inside, and you pull it out. But you can't pull it because it will hurt too much. So you need to, what I do, I stick my fingers in there a little bit and then squeeze it so it allows some air to come in. And then this way it's easier to get out, to press here instead of actually using this one. So that's a little tip for me. Get air in there instead of just pulling it. That feels uncomfortable. And also when you're putting it in, make sure you're relaxed. You sit on the toilet or you squat down, but be relaxed and breathe. Otherwise you'll be tightening up and it's harder to get it in. So how often to change it? Like I said, you can leave it in up to 12 hours, which also makes it really nice because you can sleep with it. I don't think everybody knows that you can sleep with this one. And it keeps you safe and safe at night, so you don't wake up in the morning with blood all over. We tried that, didn't we? And so in the morning, it's the first thing you do. You just empty it. Remember to wash your fingers, and before you of course stick your fingers up there to get it. The little thing that sits at the end of the cup, I would cut it. I cut it to like 1 centimeter in. It depends also. If you want to keep the whole length, you can do that, but I find that a little bit irritating to have in there, and this tail just sitting in there, and you can quite feel that. So I cut it a little bit, so I just have like 1 centimeter left of this, and then it's easier still to pull, even though I squeeze it from the inside like so. And it comes in 2 sizes. It's an A and a B size, and the A size is for you who haven't given birth yet, and the B size is for the women who has already given birth to a beautiful child. Something you can do with your blood instead of just throwing it down the toilet every time, it's having a little bowl of water next to your toilet, and you empty your blood into there and clean it in this bowl of water, and then you can use the water for your house plants or your plants outside in the garden if it's summertime. The only time you can use your blood for that is, of course, if you're on medication, because that will go into your plants as well. So you don't want that on, especially if you use it in your garden for your vegetables. You want to make sure that there's no extra chemicals going into the groundwater. And that also goes if you take the pill, because then we are not having a real bleed, and there's a lot of hormones in the pill that we don't want into our garden or into the groundwater. Another video is coming on that topic soon. So something I started doing after using it for a couple of months, I've been using this now for years and years and years. I just absolutely love this product. But was actually, I created my own oil, and I called it poontang oil just for the fun of it. And why I did that, it was because when you're done using it after your menstrual cycle is finished, you cook it to get all the bacteria out, and you also cook it before you using it for the first time on your first bleed day. But because we have so much limestone in the water here in Denmark, it gets quite dry, and it doesn't feel so smooth anymore. And so putting a little bit of oil on it really helped me insert the cup, so it would not hurt so much, and it will just go much more smoothly. And also another thing maybe people don't talk about at all is I started getting itchy down there. And yes, I was cleaning it properly, and I was cooking it every time I used it. Not every time I used it, but every time I was finished with it after my period, and just before I started using it again, I would always cook it 4 or 5 minutes at least. I would scrub it with baking powder, and there was so many things I did to keep it clean. There has some small holes here. I would also use a toothpick to clean those small holes, but still I would be itchy after I've been using it for a couple of days. And so what really helped again, I created my own poontang oil. And I will link another video where you can see me creating the poontang oil for you as well, where I use some tea tree oil, some almond oil, and that is my poontang mix. And you're gonna love it, and your vagina is gonna love it. And you can not only use this oil for your cup, but you can also just add it to your outside of your vagina. If you feel dry or you have a scratch or something like that, it's just an all over yoni vagina love oil. Call it whatever you want. And so if you experience anything like itchiness or something like that when you're using it, it can be completely normal. It doesn't mean like you're unclean or something like that. I just think because you are wearing it for more than just 1 hour, and it sits in there for a little more while, and sometimes you know, when you are in public places, you can't wash it properly, so you just empty it and put it up again with the old blood in. And so it can be many factors why it would itch a little bit, but it completely vanished when I started using my lovely poontang oil, which, like I said, I will link to another video, or you can click here and I link to another video where I explain how to make poontang oil. This was all from me today. I think you should go and buy one if you don't have it. There's so many benefits to it. It's much easier compared to pads and tampons. It's much more sustainable for the environment because they can last up to 12 years. This is just a one-time purchase, and then you have it for 12 years if you take really good care of it. The packaging itself, this can just be burnt. And then you have your little bag. You can have your cup inside and travel with. And what else do you need? You need, of course, my poontang oil, and you need always to cook it after your period and when it starts. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you want a more detailed video about something I talked about in this one, also just let me know about that. Please hit the like and subscribe button. That helps me to create some more videos for you where we go into a little more of the menstrual cycle awareness, and just in general women's health that has, I feel like, been forgotten in the society we are living in nowadays. So see you in the next video.